we're going to put up infographics for Shelley's tour date so that wherever you are, you can find her. And so I can't read it from here, but they'll run across it.
So
you can tell where you're going.
ShelleySegal.com/gigs.
There you go.
Gigs, you have to say it like that.
Gigs?
Gigs. And you can see where I'm playing all over the US.
Sweet.
And the UK as well for Atheist Day. I'm going to be at our Atheist Day conference in London with Mariam Namazi. And you guys are doing Atheist Day celebrations here as well, is that right?
Possibly. I don't know. After 4 parties this week, I don't know that I need another celebration, but I will participate as needed. Yeah, give Mariam a hug when you see her. I haven't seen her in quite a while. ShelleySegal.com/gigs or gigs if you're from down under. So, now you were here in, you did Amarillo like Wednesday, Austin Thursday, San Antonio Saturday.
We did Amarillo the week before, and then we did Arlington on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Here in Austin on Thursday, and San Antonio last night.
And where's next?
Next is going to be New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Or Nolans.
Nolans.
I should say, sorry.
There's like 14 apostrophes if you say it right. Nolans. All right. So we met years and years ago.
Yeah.
And it was fun because you had just started touring in the U.S. and the Atheist album was either just getting ready to come out or had just come out.
Yeah, I think it just came out.
And yet you were still in Australia at the time, but now you're not.
Yes, now I'm based in the U.S. I live in Los Angeles, and it makes it a lot easier to tour, that's for sure. And I love it. I love living here.
But do you miss Melbourne?
Perfect pronunciation.
Thank you. I've been there.
You've been working on it. I miss my friends and family, but I don't miss it too much, you know.
Yeah. So you've got the Atheist album, a couple others, but you have a new one.
Yes.
That's just come out.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I have a new record out. It's coming out March 15th, but it's available for pre-order at the moment, and it is. It's called Holy, and I wanted to be able to, I guess, decide for myself what is holy and elevated as opposed to having it dictated to me. That's sort of the message of the album, and there's a few, quite a few different themes on there.
Wait, you like being free to make decisions about your own life rather than being controlled?
Yeah.
All right. Well, a little later on the show, we'll pause for a little bit and get Robin here and do a song off that. So I'm dumbfounded because we've been friends for years. I haven't had you on the show before,
I know.
And so we've got loads of live callers ready, but I don't want to screw anything up. So it was like, I grabbed the ukulele, I'll try and play along, and thank you for making it sound much better.
Oh, thanks for playing it together. That was cool.
But and no lip syncing was involved in that, just for the record. But when you started touring and you came out with the Atheist album, it resonated well with the secular community. I mean, you did stuff with Dan Barker and other people who are more musically inclined than I am. And at some point, you just became kind of like the standard to where when it was time to pick a new theme song for the Atheist Experience, I don't know that there was all that much discussion. It was just going to be, yep, we're using Saved. Let's contact Shelley. When you're traveling around, are you primarily gigging for secular groups, or are you mixing in other shows as well?
It's both. Yeah, I do probably half shows, mainstream sort of shows at bars and clubs, and being a troubadour folk singer.
Do you change the set list?
I do change the set list. And the main way that I change the set list is if I'm doing a show that's not for the secular community, I will still put those secular and atheist theme songs in there, but I'll wait till halfway through. So I'll wait to give people a chance to get to know me, feel connected with me, feel they like me, and then I think people are a lot more open.
Musical secular drug dealer. Let me get you hooked on the music, and then I will teach you the things you need to know.
Exactly.
That's perfect. How are they received when you're doing the mainstream stuff?
It's been really great. It's been yeah, people come up afterwards, and it's been cool to introduce people to the secular community who didn't know about it, who just come to the show and realize, oh, that's how I feel as well. Sometimes people, you see their head turn very quickly at the bar, and they come over and they want to have an argument afterwards. But it's been pretty good.
Has anybody been mean?
There was one person that started yelling something about Jews in the street after the show. That was pretty scary.
Do you have a song that's about Jews in the street?
No. I was talking about, my experiences growing up in the Jewish community. I was like, no, I'm criticizing it. Come back. I think in a different way. But it's been good. I had one show cancelled because a local church was petitioning the venue that I was going to play at. But we ended up getting...
You should have sold more tickets when that happened.
We did sell more tickets. Yeah. Another local venue, Doyle's, a public house in Washington, in Tacoma, picked us up, and they got a lot more support and love for doing that. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wonder, I think I can recall lots of things that I learned primarily through music, but when you think about what popular musicians have done, many times they're on the forefront of social change. Many times they're singing the things that if you were to say them, it might rub people the wrong way. But because there's this perception of there's an artist freely expressing themselves, it takes on a different tone. And so do you find that you get a secular message better received because you're... I
think so. I think... people are a bit more, maybe they don't know they're about to hear an argument. They think they're going to hear a song. And I sometimes joke in my show that it's really a 4-minute uninterrupted opinion. And I do think that people are more open to hearing something that might otherwise, confront them or challenge them if it's through song, especially if it's someone they like. And then sometimes people just miss it completely. Like they just miss what I'm saying. I had the first time I played in New Orleans, I was really nervous because I know, it's very religious and...
But they're all drunk.
Well, maybe
nobody cares about religion in New Orleans.
Well, I mean, that was my first time actually touring here, so I didn't know exactly what was up in New Orleans, which is such a cool place. I'm excited to go back. But I was playing Saved, and I was so nervous that people were going to come and be really offended. And this guy came up to me after the show, and I thought, oh, here we go. And he said, that song you played, Saved, no one's going to tell you what to do. I said, yeah. He said, that's great. I agree so much. He said, if I don't want to wear a seatbelt, I shouldn't have to wear a seatbelt.
All right. Maybe that's...
You get the message. Americans understand that individualist, freedom, but not apparently from God or Jesus.
Yeah, not quite the message, but you're starting off on the right foot. But maybe you should wear a seatbelt. Yeah. I'm just So you're going to Nolan's next, and we've already had the graphic up. We'll put that up again later on in the show about where you're going. How difficult is it? Because I do a mixture of things. I'll do lectures, debates, magic shows, whatever, and I'm kind of all over the place right now. But you have been, like, I look at you and it's like, why is she not selling out 15, 20,000 seat venues and all this other stuff? And you're running around and you're doing these awesome shows for, I don't know, anywhere from like one person, me in the living room, to, hundreds of people. Is this, I don't know, I don't even know how to ask the question. When you're touring like this regularly, how much does it wear you down, or is it just, oh my gosh, it's inspiring, we're going out for another night, another night, another night? Yeah, it's mostly inspiring. Like I do get tired, but that's when Rob takes over the driving. No, I love it. I love connecting with people, and I've always loved, I talked about this a bit on Thursday night with the secular sexuality show. What's moved me and helped me the most in my life has been other musicians who showed me a different way of thinking about something, and yourselves in this show as well. It's a similar thing when someone helps you to see the world in a different way,
it changes your life. It changes who you are. It changes the world. It's been the most motivating and inspiring force in my life is music that has made me think differently. So if I can be that for somebody else, it's the most rewarding thing in the world, and it energizes me and motivates me over and over and over again. And sometimes it's not, the biggest crowd. I've done, house concerts for fans, really small, like a house concert with 10 people in Tampa, Florida, and someone answered their phone in the middle of me playing too. But and then later I stayed with everyone, and every all 10 people, well 9 because that guy left, we kicked him out. But
no cell phone.
Everybody talked about their experiences and what they've been through and their journey to get where they are, and how the songs helped them get over it, or how they related to it. And I've done similar things with like recovering from religion groups, where we sit and we talk, and sometimes I'll get people up to share their stories too, and it's just it's incredibly motivating and meaningful to me.
That's Margaret Downey, who I absolutely adore and is one of if not the finest people in the entire secular community, made a point several years ago that we were doing conventions and it would be lecture, and she was very clear in pointing out to many of us, and some of us took it to heart, that we need more people telling stories so that people know that they're not alone and what they've gone through that other people have experienced. And so on this show, we've got a call-in show. We'll get to calls here shortly. And we have discussions. Tell us what you believe and why. Sometimes the arguments are going to get heated. Sometimes they're not. Maybe we'll agree. Maybe we won't. But there's been loads of conversations about tone, about the angry atheist versus the diplomat, firebrand, et cetera. And I've always pointed out that not only are there many different avenues, and they're all potentially sound in the sense that people are going to be reached in different ways.
Yeah.
I'm doing a video this week, which is tentatively called Church House Rock, where I talk about how, as a kid, listening to the schoolhouse rock things taught me all kinds of stuff. Churches do it too. And, I joked earlier about you being the subversive secular music drug dealer. But it's true that we're getting more and more of our news from comedians, or at least comedians who are relaying news.
Yeah.
We've gotten so many of our ideas and advanced so many social changes through music. And there's a part of me that worries that it might be slightly dishonest in the sense of, maybe somebody likes the idea because they like the song. But it may just be the case that the song puts people in a place where they think differently. And so you can reach people with a message in a song that if you just said it might not have any impact, or might even start an argument.
Yeah, I think it makes you more open when you're listening to something that melody and music is emotional. So it's engaging with you in a way. If you're having an argument with someone, you're really you're in defense mode. But when you're hearing something that's engaging with your emotions, I think you're a bit more open.
That could be. Maybe today, if I go a little bit
we can sing
stern,
to everyone.
You can just sing your thoughts to people as they call in.
Or I could sing what you have to say and then see if they take it better from me.
Oh, that would be great. So if we get 2 calls with the same question, I'll answer one as the angry atheist that everybody thinks that I am, and then you can sing the same thing.